we're talking about how to help your baby to sit up from lying down. So if your baby keeps falling over as they're trying to sit and you want to learn some strengthening exercises to help your baby be able to maintain their sitting balance, improve their ability to sit, this is the right live for you. If you're new to the channel, my name is Charek Gordon. I've been a pediatric physical therapist for well over 2 decades. I show proactive parents like you how to use simple touch and movement to help your baby catch up and move ahead. Before I forget, click the link in the description below this live to download a free PDF showing you the gross motor milestones that your baby goes through from 0 to 12 months. You can download it, print it out, slap it on your refrigerator, and have it there as a reference for you so that you can use it whenever you want to check out where your baby should be and know when to reach out for some help. So let's get into today's topic, which is helping your baby maintain their balance in sitting. Now, sitting is not a passive process where you plop baby to sit and baby stays there. Sitting is an active, dynamic activity that you want your baby doing as baby moves into and out of sitting. I like to look at 3 different sides. I want you to think of it as a triangle. So if you think of this as like the sitting triangle, at the base of the triangle, you will have core, trunk, strength, and stability. And that's one of the main things you want to have because everything else is going to be built on top of that. On the left side of our triangle, we have muscle balance. Now, the muscle balance I'm talking about is the balance between the front of your muscles on the front of your baby's body compared to the muscles on the side, on the back of your baby's body. And then on the other side of our triangle, we're going to focus on righting reactions. Can your baby put their hands out to prop themselves up when your baby loses their balance? So let's go ahead and take a look at this baby here. You can see that this baby is slumped forward, and as he's sitting there slumped forward, I'm working on baby trying to be able to prop himself up in the seated position. So here's what I want you to look at what I'm doing. I am cueing him to keep his fingers flat on the ground. That's the first thing I'm cueing him to do, but I'm also trying to get him to start sitting a little bit more upright. And so if you can see what I'm doing, I'm cueing his back muscles right there, and I am cueing his muscles to balance the muscles on the back of his trunk with the muscles in the front, and cueing him to be able to sit up in a bit more of an upright, seated posture as he continues to look around, and I'm showing the parent what I want them to do as we continue to work with this little one, getting his balance, balancing the muscles on the front of his body with the muscles on the back of his body so that he can start sitting in more of an upright position as he is playing with toys, as he's looking around. Now you can see I'm working up and down the sides of his body as I am continuing to cue him so that he can continue to sit up. What I'm doing right now, you can see me pressing directly downwards on his shoulder. What I'm cueing him to do in this instance is activate the muscles on both the front and the back of his body, and you can see he's starting to respond to it. He's sitting with his trunk a little bit more upright, and even though he's getting tired, his muscles are getting stronger. What I'm doing next is I am showing him, I'm giving him my fingers to hold on to. And what I want him to do is kind of a baby seated push-up where I'm targeting his chest muscles, his arm muscles, his shoulder muscles. I'm making my hands firm, and as he pushes against my hands, he is strengthening the muscles on the front of his body so that he can go ahead and start pushing away from me and strengthening the muscles on the front of his body, making his muscles a little bit stronger as he continues to go ahead and strengthen those muscles so that he can sit a little bit more upright and maintain his balance. And what you want to do is be able to shift from working on the muscles in the front of your baby's body to working on the muscles at the back so that you maintain that overall balance that we're shooting for between the front and the back muscles on your baby's trunk so that your baby can actually sit in a little bit more of an upright position and be able to continue working on sitting up and maintaining a certain sense of balance between the front muscles and the back muscles, and baby continues to improve his dynamic balance. Now, don't be concerned if over time you notice your baby gets tired and drops back onto propping himself up while he is seated. So that's the first activity I want you to do. As baby continues to get stronger, we move on to what's called tripod sit. The tripod sit is where you put baby's legs kind of wide apart around a toy, and I just cue baby to go ahead and sit with his hands on a toy, and as baby continues to go ahead and play with the toy, now I am just letting him go. I'm trying to test the limits of his strength to see how much he can sit or how well he can sit on his own and be able to continue to maintain that position without me having to hold on to him. I like to encourage parents, if your baby is tilting to one side, to push down on the opposite leg so that you can activate baby's trunk muscles on the side of baby's body so that baby can go ahead and strengthen those side muscles and be able to bring his body upright as he is playing. Now you can see I am cueing him to continue to use his hands. I want him to start just taking one hand off of the toy at a time as he begins to build more strength and increase his level of confidence and be able to start raising his hands up. You see he lost his balance a little bit. This is what I want you to pay attention to as your baby is playing and your baby is continuing to do this activity and get stronger. You want to kind of back off a little bit and let your baby play around on his own. The next activity is what's called sitting with hands on a toy. And I like this one because as baby gets stronger and his balance begins to come more into it and he starts to be able to sit with his hands more in an upright position, then I want you to be able to go ahead and look at him as he's playing. He's got his hands on a toy. This is a higher toy than the one I just showed you. And what I'm doing is I'm just cueing him to be able to go ahead and start sitting, playing with his hands, one hand on the toy at a time as we're actively sitting, playing, and engaging with him. And so this is a good activity for you to do with your little one as you're playing around and he's beginning to get a little bit more confidence as his building up his core trunk strength and stability and being able to sit with his body in more of an upright position. I like playing with this toy. I like this particular toy as an activity that baby can do as he is pushing off of the toy and as baby is getting stronger and stronger and building better trunk strength and stability. As baby continues to sit, I like to encourage baby to actually lean off to one side and just go ahead and be able to play with the toy, and while he's propping himself up. You can see I have him propping himself up off to one side, and what I'm cueing him to do is just go ahead and be able to sit there and play around with the toy, but lean his body off to one side as he is playing with the toy. And then what you do on one side, you want to cue your baby to do on the opposite side. And so what I would do in this position is lean him over onto the other side and then encourage him to put his hand down and continue to prop himself up. Now, this is how you start building that reactions as baby showing baby to put his hands out to the side as baby loses his balance and tips over there a little bit. The final sitting position that I like to work on before I transition and move baby off into crawling is what's called side sitting, where you have baby and you put both of baby's legs off to the same side and you just find a toy that baby can play with while maintaining their balance in this position while baby is seated, playing in this position. So this is the final exercise that I like to do with a little one as I'm working on baby, being able to work on building up that core trunk strength and stability. If you have any further questions for me, you can drop a comment down below. I read all the comments and I answer them, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, I will talk to you in the next video. I'm going to put a link to a nice crawling video